Now, Ukraine's allies from across Europe had an encouraging message for its President Volodymyr Zelensky on Thursday at the end of their summit hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that the group had agreed to offer more support to Ukraine and discussed how to increase sanctions on Russia. Now, Keir Starmer also told the Ukrainian president that he had the full support of the so-called coalition of the willing, NATO and the EU for as long as it takes.
Just had a very constructive meeting of the Coalition of the Willing, bigger than we've had before, 30 countries, plus of course NATO and the EU, and absolutely determined to see peace through strength. There was absolute clarity that Russia is trying to delay, is playing games, and we have to be absolutely clear about that. And that has meant three outcomes. Firstly, more support for Ukraine to make sure Ukraine is in the strongest possible position, both now and in further negotiations. Second, complete clarity that now is not the time for lifting of sanctions, quite the contrary.
The summit agreed this week's US brokered agreements to safeguard shipping in the Black Sea and last week to halt the long-range strikes on energy infrastructure were a first step towards peace. However, Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of deal violations, foreshadowing a long and a contentious process ahead. Now, France and the United Kingdom are pushing for a separate initiative to support the deployment of a European armed force in Ukraine called the Coalition of the Willing, and it is aimed at securing any peace deal by dissuading Russia from attacking the country again. However, officials have suggested that such a force of about 10,000 to 30,000 troops would also be a considerable effort for European nations that had shrunk their militaries after the Cold War under the umbrella of US security. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.